Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. All things Middle Earth here with a Rise to War 2.0 commander build video. Today we're talking about Gil-Galad. We're going to talk about how to skill him, the best gear for him, and the troops that I've been around with him with his evade that makes him very, very good in 2.0. So stay tuned. All that's coming up in just 1 second. All right, now as always, we have the spreadsheet linked down in the description below so you can pull this up at any time, look at any of the commanders we've done, and kind of see what works for you. I will also say down in the description below my affiliate link for the top up center is down there as well. If you are spending in the game, if you're playing the Yule events or doing whatever and spending in the game, you used my link. It does support the channel, so consider doing so if you're enjoying the content. But first of all, with Gil, there are basically two types of commanders in this game, in my opinion, and that is damage dealing commanders and everybody else. And Gil falls into the everyone else category, the support category. He has a very high command stat, and with the right gear, he can get his command very, very high, which means his damage dealt and received by his army is significantly reduced. So we're going to lean into that as much as we possibly can. So here you can see for it, I'm not going to read through every single one because you guys can see if you want to take a screenshot or again, pull the spreadsheet up and look. But we have a list of different options for him. These are all high command options, usually focusing on high unit attack. Depending on what you have available for sets, you could also look at unit defense. I personally have tried that a bit. I run that on my Sauron, a really just defensive gear build, and I've been very, very happy with it. So you might want to play around based on what you have, available to make sets. But that's kind of the suggestion is that high command gear. And again, if we pull the spreadsheet up here, the very far tab here, which I'm blocking it right now, but all over on the left side at the very far left, it says items. You can go here and click these three buttons on any of the tab areas, and it will let you sort by whatever you want. So for Gil, that's going to be command. So we're looking at the things that have the highest command. So you saw that I think we had the gigantic hammer at number 1 for him, and that's because it has not only one of the highest commands at 280, but if we go over, it's got the highest unit attack in the game. Again, for my Sauron, I'm running a defensive build, so I'm running the Reckoning, very high command piece as well, but it's the opposite where you get a lot of unit defense. So you go through and you do that, and again, there are lots of options, but we're gonna go through, look at all of what we have in our inventory, what we can make in terms of sets. The ideal sets I'm gonna suggest, I think Warcry makes the most sense. Everything Gil does, it really focuses on that early round evade, so Warcry boosting his damage for the first 3 rounds makes a lot of sense to me. Divide and Conquer is also one that I'm liking a lot because it stacks over time. Every round he's going to reduce damage by 2%. So if he's evading the first couple of rounds anyway, that means by the time he actually starts taking hits, that's kicking in on top of his already high command. So I think Divide and Conquer can be a fantastic one. Then we have something like Sharp Blade just to increase the might that he has, and then we have Fortitude, which is going to just reduce his overall damage he's taking from damage commanders, which is very much the meta. So those are kind of our ideal sets, and is always the case with any of our commander builds. You don't want to really try and force sets. Don't run blue gear just to make a Warcry set. If you can run some of the better gold options, 1, 2, or like third best. So again, right now I have gigantic hammer, elven white knife. If I go over to the item sheet and I sort, I'm just gonna say sort by hand just so I can see the weapons only. You can sort by the command items, or you could also sort by unit attack over here, and we can see what the highest unit attack items are and find ones that have command on them. That's kind of how I want to do it. But if you stay within the top 3 or so and throw those on Gil and you're able to make a set, great. But if not, don't sweat it. Over time you're gonna get those sets. But again, we also have some purple and blue suggestions. So that is the gear setup. Again, it's difficult because every account is very, very different, and some people are going to run different sets just because they have different availabilities or different gear pieces. You might run the second or third best on all of them, but make a complete set, or you might run the best options with no set. It's just up to your account. So again, if you guys ever need help, hop in the Discord. There's a lot of people that like to talk about game stuff, so I'm always happy to try and help where we can. So that's the gear. Now we're going to look at the skill build for Gil. All right, so for Gil, the big thing that works for him is his Kingly Kin ability, which when once maxed out, you're going to get a 70% chance for elves in 3 allied formations to evade damage, which is very, very good. And again, on top of him having a very high command stat and reducing damage significantly, he's going to avoid a lot of the first couple hits. So that is the first thing and probably the most important thing of his kit. So again, if you look at the sheet, We have Kingly Ken, first 10 out of 10. The next thing we're going to do is going to be Icicle. We're going to put 5 points in Icicle just for the stun. We don't care about the damage that much, but the stun is pretty solid. And really, we're not going to be able to max out anything else. So the last points are going to go into High King. It does say 10 of 10 here. Technically, you'll have a couple less points if you're not above R5, but the extra points are going to go into High King, which is going to boost the attack and defense in the first 5 rounds of the elves. So not a bad thing at all, but we really want the evade and we want a stun, which I think I've found I've seen be very, very helpful. So that is the skill setup for Gil that we're going to run. Again, you can check it here and fill in the blanks for whatever your Gil is. If your Gil's much higher respect, you might be able to max out High King. If not, you may not be able to. But the big thing I want to talk about next with Gil, and the last thing is troop setup. And what we want to do with Gil is we want to make sure we're running a melee elf, like the heralds on him, because we want Gil to take as many hits as possible or his troops. So we want to run the melee elf on Gil and then a ranged elf on everyone else. That means that they're going to avoid if they get hit by commanders or anything else coming in, but a lot of the hits from melee units are going to just be directed right at Gil, which is very, very good. So we want to run melee on him, ranged on everyone else if possible. And last but not least, as you guys know, I like to give the uniques a pass or fail. Now, every commander is made better with their uniques because they get more stats. So every commander is going to benefit from them, but I will make a point on Gil's. Whether this is a fail or not, you decide. I would absolutely not ever refine this item unless you just have nothing else to do. I have seen this thing fully refined. The healing with it fully refined was very, very underwhelming. And honestly, I just think refinement is usually best on damage dealing commanders that have really good relics that kind of boost the damage they're doing. But Gil, again, if you want to get it, if you want to strengthen it up even for stats, that's one thing. That's fine. Just think twice before refining. I don't think it's super worth it, but I think that's technically a fail for me. I just wanted to make a note on it that, again, every commander benefits from it down the road, like way down the road if you play this game for a long time. If your best formation, they all have relics and their strength, that's going to be good. Like that's going to obviously make a difference. But the ones that you refine and put a lot of your mithril into, I think need to be ones that really are on damage commanders and help them do more damage. It's just what the meta is. So anyway, that is Gil-Galad. Again, that sheet is linked down below. So if you want to comb through it and see, and again, like I said, there could be 5 options in each of these. So go over to the items tab on the far left if you want to. You can sort by any of the things we talked about today. The idea is to make these guides super simple so you can just look at it and go, okay, this is what I need to run. These are my options. But also if you want to dip your toe in a bit more and kind of dig into your possibilities with your account, you can do that as well. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Stay tuned for more Commander videos coming very soon. And as always, we'll see you guys in the next video.